Welcome to Storytime. I'm so excited to go on another problem-solving adventure with you, Mr. McGreely, and the three little bunnies. Let's check it out. Tippy, 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 Splash by Candace Fleming and G. Brian Krause. Mr. McGreely had bunny problems. He had bunnies in his garden, bunnies in his shed, bunnies in his cupboard, bunnies in his bed. "I can't take it any more," bellowed Mr. McGreely. "I need a break. I need to escape. I need a day at the beach." Mr. McGreely grinned as his idea grew. "What fun!" he exclaimed. "I will search for shells, fly a kite in the sky, surf on the waves, and build a big, tall sand castle. Best of all, there won't be a pesky pufftail in sight." So bright and early the next morning, Mr. McGreely packed his surfboard and his snorkel, his sand pail and shovel. Then he bustled off to put on his bathing suit and tippy, 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 pat. Click, clack, snap. Minutes later, Mr. McGreely slid into the driver's seat. "Goodbye, bunnies," he called out. "Hello, fun." He hummed a snappy, happy tune all the way to the beach. Once there, he spread out his blanket and flopped onto his belly. "Ah," he sighed, "let the fun begin." But tippy, tippy, pat, flip, plop, flop. When Mr. McGreely saw the three little bunnies sunbathing on his blanket, he was angry. "Oh no," he exclaimed. "No bunny, no how, no way is sharing my fun day." He stomped away in search of shells. Sift, sift, poke, look, lift. He uncovered half a sand dollar and 2 cracked clamshells. "By golly, that was fun," exclaimed Mr. McGreely. "And just look what I found." He skipped back to his blanket. Meanwhile, Tippy, 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 grab, plucked from the sand. Tippy, nab. 3 little bunnies combing for shells, dragging a sack as big as themselves. Oomph! When Mr. McGreely saw the 3 little bunnies' big heap of sea treasures, he was really angry. "Trying to show me up, eh?" he sputtered. "Well, let's see you wily twitch whiskers do this." Grabbing a kite, he ran up and down the beach. Huff, huff, gasp, pant, puff. The kite bounced along behind. "By golly, that was really fun," Mr. McGreely wheezed happily. "And my kite even lifted off for a second." He headed back to his blanket. Meanwhile, Tippy, 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 dash. Down the shoreline, Tippy flash. 3 little bunnies flying a kite, clutching the string with all of their might. Whee! When Mr. McGreely saw the three little bunnies kite, swooping and soaring above the clouds, he was really, really angry. "You infuriating flop ears may have caught the breeze," he cried, "but I bet you can't catch a wave," and tucked a surfboard under his arm and sprinted across the sand, dove into the surf, and crash, smash, glub, glub, blub. He washed ashore, spitting and sputtering. "Fun," Mr. McGreely coughed. He dripped back to his blanket. Meanwhile, Tippy, 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 dash, riding the waves, Tippy, splash. Three little bunnies glide on shore, then giggle and wiggle and splash back for more. Cowabunnies! When Mr. McGreely saw the three little bunnies shooting the curls and riding the waves, he was furious. "Blast you, wily twitch whiskers," he shouted. "You want to see fun? I'll show you fun." Snatching up a pail and shovel, he stormed down the beach to the sand castle contest. "First prize wins lunch at the Veggie Hut," said the judge. Mr. McGreely dropped to his knees in the sand. "By golly," he fumed, "let's see those four-pawed show-offs do this." He started building, but crumble, tumble, plop, plop, slop. All he could make was a mound of wet sand. "So much for my fun day," sniffed Mr. McGreely. He wiped a tear away. But then, Tippy, 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 ta-da! Mr. McGreely looked from the bunnies to the other castles, and then back to the bunnies. "Well, maybe," he finally said, "just this once." So together they shoveled and shaped, scooped and caked, molded and piled and patted and raked. They built a big, tall sand castle. It was decorated with seashells. A bright kite fluttered from one of its towers, and a surfboard served as a drawbridge. "The winner!" declared the judge. He slapped a blue ribbon onto the castle and a gift certificate into Mr. McGreely's hand. Mr. McGreely grinned. "Now that," he exclaimed, "was fun." Muncha, muncha, muncha. What if you were at the beach with Mr. McGreely and the bunnies? What could you add to their sandcastle? Today we're going to build our part of the big collective sandcastle, just like we were there with Mr. McGreely and his bunny friends. Though I don't suppose we can eat their sandwich.